We are now expecting landfall in the Atlantic City area to happen within the next hour, sometime between 6 and 7 o'clock. We're at the moment now where evacuation is no longer possible, and we're no longer able to come and rescue people. This has become particularly problematic in Atlantic City, where, for whatever reason, Mayor Lankford urged people to stay in shelters in the city. Despite my admonition to evacuate, he gave them comfort, for some reason, to stay. We now have a large number of people, we can't quantify it at this point, that are in Atlantic City, and at this juncture there is no other way for us to go in and get them. They're going to have to ride out the storm there until at least 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I cannot, in good conscience, send rescuers in as the storm is about to hit in the next hour, nor can I send them in the dark, given all the various hazards that would occur potentially to them. And so I asked these people to leave. For some reason, the mayor, in his initial conversations with the public, told them he didn't want his people leaving Atlantic City. So you have people staying, either self-sheltering in their homes or sheltering in some city shelters there, one of which is literally a block away from the bay in a school, which is now flooded completely. So for those of you who are on the barrier islands who decided it was a better idea to wait this out than to evacuate, and for those elected officials who decided to ignore my admonition, this is now your responsibility. If you're still able to hear me, we need you to hunker down and get to the highest point possible in the dwelling that you're in. We will not be able to come and help you until daylight tomorrow. Please try to hunker down and stay safe until then. We've deployed emergency crews throughout the day to assist individuals, particularly in Atlantic City, with evacuation. But as I said, it's no longer safe for us to do it, so we're stopping now. The winds are very high. We're seeing heavy rainfall, and darkness obviously is quickly creating this kind of dangerous situation for our first responders. At this time, they'll be responding to calls to calls for service only. As soon as it's safe to send them in, we'll send them back in, but that probably won't be until tomorrow morning. We've pre-staged our first Swift Water Strike team in Atlantic City. That's a 21-member team in 4 boats, prepared to launch at 7 a.m. tomorrow for shallow and swift water rescue in Atlantic City. We're keeping 2 other Swift Water Strike teams at Lakehurst. That's 40 trained members, a total of 10 boats that could deploy anywhere else in New Jersey along the coastline as needed or requested. We'll wait to see what happens both tonight and tomorrow morning. Also now situated at Lakehurst are 2 federally supported USAR Type 1 teams from out of state. That's 180 high-tech urban search and rescue personnel. They're fully equipped and self-sustaining, and they also have waterborne capabilities. Regarding flooding, we're also starting to see challenges now in Salem and Cumberland counties on streams and rivers because of heavy rains and tidal push, which we continue to monitor. Luckily, at this point in the rest of the state, we are not yet seeing indications of flooding. There's still a lot more water to come, but at this point, things are positive. As I said earlier, state government is closed tomorrow. Education Commissioner Cerf is encouraging closure of schools to ensure student safety. 509 of our 580 some districts are saying that they will be closed tomorrow. I hope the rest of them will follow suit as soon as possible. All these decisions are made at the local level, but I would hope that they would look at the conditions we're dealing with and would make the smart move and not have school buses out on the road tomorrow. We don't know what the condition the roads will be in. We're going to anticipate during the evening a lot more downed trees and downed wires. It'll just be a very dangerous situation to move folks around tomorrow, we believe. So let's leave these roads open for emergency personnel to get around. Department of Health has requested out-of-state assistance for 75 ambulances to help with pre- and post-storm medical transport. 22 ambulances arrived from Indiana today. I want to thank Governor Daniels for his assistance in this regard for sending 22 ambulances from Indiana. They arrived today, traveled from Indiana to New Jersey, and I want to thank Governor Daniels for his help in this regard. Let's talk about road closures. Garden State Parkway is closed in both directions from the Driscoll Bridge down to the end of the Parkway in Cape May. And the Turnpike is currently closed from exit 7A to exit 8. There are 42 other road closures in 13 counties. Now, when a road is closed, that means it's closed. Now, we can't put a truck at every on-ramp to the Garden State Parkway. But we have announced that the road is closed. We have signs up saying it's closed. Yet we still have people who decide if there's not actually a piece of equipment blocking their way onto the parkway, they're going to drive on it anyway. If you are listening on the radio and you're thinking about getting on the parkway from 129 South, don't. If you're on the parkway between 129 and South, get off. This is not acceptable conduct. What's going on and what will go on is when it gets dark, you're not going to be able to see where water is pooled and become extremely deep. And we have flooding conditions on various parts of the turnpike over those 120, or parkway rather, over those 129 miles. You could get yourself in significant danger being on those roadways from 129 south. So please do not get on the parkway. Even if there's not a truck blocking the on-ramp, it does not mean the road is open. The road is closed. Sign says stay off the road, so please stay off the road. As for power outages, our latest numbers are 348,500 without power. Unfortunately, we expect that to get significantly higher. The breakdown from Atlantic City Electric is 55,000, JCP&L 197,000, PSE&G 94,000, and Orange and Rockland 2,500. The companies are reaching out to states outside this weather pattern and have had some success in obtaining additional crew commitments for statewide linemen, servicemen, and tree cleaning workers to deal with this. PSE&G has secured 526 tree contractors to clear damaged trees and limbs from as far away as Texas, Indiana, Illinois, Florida, and other states, as well as Canada. New Jersey OEM was successful in assisting JCP&L in securing permission to bring in additional helicopters for damage assessment. Once we can get them up in the air, they'll be able to give a greater view to them more quickly about where lines are damaged and for use of additional landing sites throughout the state. Storm is causing a great deal of damage. If you're looking at some of the pictures that we're seeing from the Jersey coastline, I finally heard one person say, maybe our decision to stay this time wasn't such a good idea. I've been in touch with President Obama this afternoon. The president called me at about 2:15 this afternoon. It was just the two of us on the phone. We had a good conversation. The president wanted to know if we had everything that we needed to be able to respond to the storm from a federal perspective. I told him at this point we did. He wanted to check on the level of cooperation with FEMA. I said it was excellent because it is. And he told me that if at any point over the next 48 hours I was not getting something for the federal government, that I should call him directly at the White House and that he was going to be there and that I should just not worry about dealing with anybody else, call him. So I appreciate that call from the president. It was very proactive, and I appreciate that type of leadership, and I appreciate the president's telephone call. And if we do need something, I've got the number, and I'll be sure to use it. As of this afternoon, there were about 2,800 residents in state and local shelters, and the 4 state-supported shelters had about 1,800 residents. County shelters have not yet reached capacity in most of the state, so residents should continue to use the state as the last stop after friends and family, municipality, and county. Right now, after stocked with food, water, and medications. And again, you can go to nj211.org, nj211.org to find shelter locations by county if you need to get one now. A few things in closing, and I'll take your questions. If you are in the Barrier Islands still, I want to go back to this. Do not try to get out now. Have information that there is a completely safe way to get out. The flooding is significant on the barriers, and you're putting yourself in danger. The best advice I can give you now, after you having ignored our advice all along, is to get to the highest point possible in the shelter you're in and to hunker down until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then to call authorities to ask to be rescued. And we'll put you in queue behind the other people that we need to rescue, and we'll get those Swiftwater boat folks out there to begin urban search and rescue throughout the areas of the Barrier Islands. I'm very disappointed in the fact that some decided to disregard my instruction, in fact, my order, and I'm concerned that it might lead to the loss of life. I'm extraordinarily disappointed in elected officials who decide to tell people to directly contravene an order from the governor. That's going to cost people significantly over the course of the next number of hours, unfortunately. I pray that there won't be any loss of life because of it. The rest of this team stands ready to continue to work throughout the night to get things done. I think we're staring at the worst 4 to 6 hours of the storm coming, starting in about 15 minutes or so. And then we'll be able to start to look to see, given how quickly the storm started to move now, and maybe by tomorrow early evening, the ability to start to look at damage assessment and see what we can do about beginning to assemble recovery teams. So that's where we are now. I'm happy that the storm has moved more quickly. I think it will help us, especially with flooding being less severe than it might have otherwise been, because it's coming more quickly and will miss, for the most part, the high tide period of this evening. So let's hope it doesn't slow down for some reason, hits shore, and then let's get moving and let's get everything done. Last thing I'll say is to the folks out there who still have power or on TV or listening on radio is please stay home. We're almost near the end of this now, at least this first phase of the problem. And if you're safe already, you're most likely to continue to stay safe. If you lose power, be careful about the lighting of candles and all the rest of that. Don't start fires someplace else in the state, in your home, because you're not paying attention. But stay safe. Keep your children close. Continue to listen for announcements, and we will continue to work hard here to make sure that as many people in New Jersey as we can keep safe, we will keep safe.